CrossFit Huntsville. Today is Thursday, April 23rd. We've got a 30-30 chipper for you today. What that's going to mean is you're going to have 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest, 30 seconds of work, and 30 seconds of rest for each movement here. All right? It is going to be your choice on the order of the movements that you do today, but I'm going to talk about them and explain them just like I have them written on the board today. Your total score today will be 4 reps, so as many reps as you can get once you've gone through all of these movements. Once you've done 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest, 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest, for each movement, you'll go on to the next movement and you will not come back to that movement. All right, let's start off here talking about the overhead plate lunges. If you're gonna go RX, that's a 45-pound plate for the guys, 35-pound plate for the ladies. RX Plus will take that to 55 and 45. MRX will be 35 and 15. These will be alternating stationary lunges. You'll have that plate locked out overhead. You'll go out, you'll step out, the back knee will touch, and then you'll bring that front foot back to the back foot before you go again with the next leg. If we need to scale that, of course, we could scale the weight of the plate that we're holding overhead, or we could just scale that and just do a body weight lunge. If lunges bother you, we could, of course, scale that further to an air squat. Okay, then you'll move on. Hang power snatch. For that hang power snatch, if you're going to go RX, it'll be 95 for the guys, 65 for the ladies. RX Plus, 115 for the guys, 75 for the ladies, and MRX, 75, 55. Remember, you will deadlift that up. Each rep will come from the hang. Whatever weight you're using, you need to feel very confident that you're going to be able to hold on to that bar and get very large chunks of reps there. Of course, if we need to scale the weight on the bar, we can, of course, scale the weight on the bar so you can cycle, feel like you can really cycle that barbell. Then you've got box jumps. Height of the box, 24 inches for the guys, 20 for the ladies. RX Plus, 30 and 24. MRX, 20 and 18. On those box jumps, if we need to scale that, we could scale the height of the box, or we could scale that to a step up. But no matter what we're doing, whether we're going RX or scale, we want to make sure that we're getting a full hip opening on the top of that box each time, standing nice and tall before we go back down into our next rep. Then you've got strict or kipping pull-ups. Either one of those would be an RX option today. And either one of those that you're doing, your chin is clearly going over the bar and you're getting full extension at the bottom. If we need to scale those pull-ups, of course, we could do a banded pull-up, we could do a jumping pull-up, or even a ring row. Then you've got over-the-bar burpees. Those will be lateral over-the-bar burpees. Doesn't matter how you get down there, but your chest will contact the ground. Doesn't matter how you get up, but if you're going to go RX, it does need to be a 2-foot hop over the bar. And of course, we could scale that with just a step over the bar. Then you've got your choice of either dumbbell or kettlebell snatches. Your first 30 seconds will stay on one arm the whole time. So if I start with my right arm, I'm going to stay in my right arm for the whole 30 seconds. Then I'll have my 30 seconds of rest, and then I'll stay on my left arm for the entire 30 seconds. If I'm going to use a kettlebell, the weight will be 24 and 16 for RX. RX Plus will be 32 and 24. MRX will be 20 and 12. And remember, if I'm using a kettlebell for those snatches, that will just be coming back down to that hang position each time. Now, if I'm going to use a dumbbell, the dumbbell weight will be 50 for the guys, 35 for ladies, and then MRX would be 35 and 20. On the dumbbell, if I'm doing those snatches, remember the dumbbell, both heads of the dumbbell will have to contact the ground in between each rep there. All right, then you've got strict or kipping handstand push-ups. Again, either one of those would be an RX option. You do have to start with full extension, heels are against the wall. You'll come down and touch your head, and then of course you'll finish in the same fashion with full extension, heels touching the wall, but hips are off the wall with your midline being nice and tight. If we're gonna scale that, we could of course scale that to 1 to 2 ab mats like we would normally do there. We could even scale that to a pike push-up. We could scale it to a regular push-up from your knees or your toes, or we can even turn that into a strict press or a shoulder to overhead. Any of those would be good scaling options. All right, then you've got your kettlebell goblet squats. You can hold that kettlebell by the horns, or you can flip it upside down and hold it by the bell, but we're definitely trying to make sure that we get that good depth, hip crease below the top of the knee, and then standing tall between each rep. We could scale the weight of the kettlebell, or we could even scale it further, and we could just do an air squat there. Then you've got knees to elbows or V-ups. Again, either one of those would be RX options. For those knees to elbow, we are making sure that we are contacting the tip of the elbow and the tip of the knee. Both of those things are making contact with each rep. All right, on the V-ups, you're laying flat. You'll come up, your arms are fully extended over your head, Your feet, your legs are nice and tight. They'll come up, your toes and your fingers will touch, and then you'll go back down to that flat position for each rep. To scale, we could of course do your knees as high as possible, or we could just turn around into a sit-up variation from the ground. Then you've got sumo deadlift high pull. This could be done with your barbell or with your kettlebell. Either way you look at it, you're gonna finish nice and high, those elbows high and outside, and the barbell or the kettlebell will finish just under your chin and above your clavicles for each rep. When you go down, either those weights would tap or the kettlebell would tap the ground between each rep. And of course we could scale the weight there as needed for the sumo deadlift high pull. All right, then you've got a row or bike for calories. Get on there, get as many as you can. 30 seconds work, 30 seconds rest, 30 seconds work, 30 seconds rest. And then you'll finish off there with your kettlebell goblet hold good mornings. All right, for that kettlebell goblet hold good morning, you're gonna hold it just like you would hold that for your goblet squat. You're gonna hold it right there by the horns, or you could flip it upside and hold it by the bell. You'll have a slight bend in those knees. You're gonna keep that core and that back nice and tight. You'll come down, right, until you get good parallel to the floor, and then you'll have full extension on the way back up. Okay, if we need to scale that, if that is too heavy, if the kettlebell that you have is too heavy to hold in that front rack position, then of course you could always scale that by reaching back, letting that kettlebell sit on your back, again doing the exact same movement, chest being parallel to the floor, and then coming back up to that full extension. If we need to scale that further, we could scale that and not use any weight at all and just do body weight good mornings or a banded good morning. Either one of those would be a good scale. All right, guys, so your score here is total reps. Again, you choose the order of the movements. These are only 30 seconds of work at a time, so it needs to be a sprint, right? Your work-rest ratio is the same, so sprint it out, CrossFit Huntsville. Get as many reps as you can. Can't wait to see those scores.